When Kenyans adopted the 2010 Constitution, Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity was hailed as a turning point, a constitutional sword against corruption. 15 years later, it remains a powerful promise on paper, but in practice, the fight for integrity is still mired in contradictions. From the infamous list of shame to high-profile impeachments, including governors and even a deputy president, enforcement of Chapter 6 has exposed a widening gap between aspiration and accountability. Critics say justice has been selective and the political will inconsistent. As NTV's Laban Shaban now reports.
Chapter 6 of Kenya's 2010 Constitution, Leadership and Integrity, was hailed as a bold blueprint to clean up government, a promise to hold power to account. Speaking during Katiba Day commemorations on Wednesday at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, President William Ruto noted that daily revenue collections have now surpassed 1 billion shillings, but warned that corruption among state officers remain a major obstacle.
Yet I admit there is still much more to be done to combat corruption within the executive. Corruption must be chased down every alley, every corridor, and every corner of the executive by every well-meaning official and citizen whenever it is spotted.
And as a good leader, you should tell your team that, let's go to the top, but if you misbehave, I'll throw you under the bus. That way, we'll start seeing change.
In 2010, Kenyans adopted a new constitution with high hopes of transforming governance. At the heart of the promise was Chapter 6, a safeguard against leaders tainted with corruption and abuse of office. But 15 years later, has it lived to the expectation?
And I've been wondering whether in Kenya we have sufficient grace to have good leadership, because we have lost it over the years. Even with the disruptions like 2010, or when the late President Kibaki came to power, there was also a disruption of political equilibrium. And we saw some changes taking place, and then they just fizzled out.
A decade ago, the 2015 list of shame named cabinet secretaries, governors, and MPs under investigation for corruption by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Some, like Evans Kidero and Charity Ngilu, saw their cases collapse. Mike Sonko was impeached but remains active politically. Alfred Mutua and Isaac Ruto continued their terms, some even returning to government. Today, they are still influential, highlighting the gap between Chapter 6 promise and reality.
This issue of people just doing what they want and they're still in office, or you have a case in court and you're still holding a high-profile office, actually that shows how low we have sunk.
The chapter has been tested across Kenya's counties and at the national level. Ferdinand Waitito, as Kiambu governor, was impeached by the Senate in 2020 for gross misconduct and abuse of office.
A house of greed. Aingeturudishia ugonjwa huu Meru, atungekuwa hapa.
Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza survived 2 impeachment attempts in 2023, but was removed on the 3rd attempt in August 2024, a decision later upheld by the High Court. At the national level, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua faced impeachment in October 2024 on charges including corruption and undermining the government. Gachagua was eventually impeached and is now contesting the decision in court. Chapter 6 set the bar for upright leadership, as the path to genuine accountability looks treacherous. 15 years on, the law persists on paper, but in reality, the true measure of leadership is still unfolding. Laban Shaban, NTV, Nairobi.